Hi, guys, it's Omer here. I'm getting a lot of questions about how the Middle East conflict is impacting mortgages, specifically in Canada. So, I made a video in case your clients are asking how this could impact them. And if you have any questions like that coming out from your customers, hopefully you can watch this video and this will explain a few things to you. So a couple of things. Number one is that, while Canada may not be militarily involved in this conflict, we're still not immune to the effects of war. This is very important to understand. Geopolitical events such as war, oil shocks, trade conflicts, all of these can change the economic outlook and inflation expectations. And these are the matrix that Bank of Canada looks at when they determine our interest rates. Bank of Canada obviously sits together 8 times a year, so roughly every 6 to 7 weeks. And these are the things they look at. They look at the economic outlook and inflation expectations. But more importantly than that, you have to understand that bond markets react to geopolitical news on a daily basis. And bond markets are responsible for fixed mortgage rates, which are the most popular rates in Canada. So most of the clients that take a mortgage in Canada take a 5-year fixed or a 3-year fixed. And these rates move based on bond yields, and bond yields are adjusting daily to these news. And remember, when bond yields go up, interest rates go up. So, what's happening with the war? Well, we have to watch the oil. If oil spikes, bonds will react. So if oil prices go up, bond yields go up as well, and that impacts interest rates on fixed rate mortgages in Canada right away. So the immediate risk, right? Oil prices have started to increase since the Middle East conflict started and escalated. Oil prices have already jumped 30% since the war has started, and bond yields have also started reacting. So higher oil prices lead to higher inflation expectations, which push up yields. And when yields go up, fixed interest rates go up. So here's a very important chart, right? What I did was I compared oil prices to bond yields since the war started till today. So what you will notice is that on February 27th, before the war started, oil prices were around $72 a barrel, and bond yields were about 2.67%. Fast forward to today, we're looking at oil prices go up to $92 per barrel, and bond yields have gone up by 2.94%. So oil has gone up almost 30% since the war started. And that has pushed bond yields up by 27 basis points. That's significant. What that means is that if you're getting a mortgage right now, and specifically fixed rate mortgage like a 5-year fix, you'll notice that the discretionary pricing that's coming back from the banks is not the same as you were getting last week. So we're generally seeing rates come back about 10 to 15 basis points higher than what we were getting prior to this conflict escalating. So if oil keeps rising, we could see bonds push closer to 3%, which is not great because at that point you'll start seeing some of the advertised rates for the banks change as well. Oh, now always remember, guys, that nobody's actually taking advertised rates on their mortgages, right? If the bank is advertising, let's say, 3.99, your clients are actually getting discounted rates at 3.69 or 3.79 because that's where the discretionary pricing allows them to go. But this discretionary pricing is now getting tighter because of the inflation expectations jumping. So if oil keeps rising, we could see bonds push closer to 3%, which means that even advertised rates could potentially go, which it could go up, right? And so now the major question is, what's causing all this? Because Iran is only responsible for about 2% of the global oil supply. Obviously, Iran is a heavily, heavily sanctioned country. That's why they don't have a massive footprint when it comes to oil exports. So what's the reason? Why is oil going up? Well, the reason is this: the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz is the most important oil checkpoint in the world. 20% of the global oil supply moves through it daily. That's 20 million barrels of oil per day that travel through this narrow corridor. And all the major oil exporters like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, and UAE, they depend on this corridor. And obviously, this oil then goes to most Asian countries like China, India, Japan, Korea, and Iran essentially, controls the entire northern coastline of the strait. So when the war started, this Strait of Hormuz was effectively closed. So any conflict can disrupt the shipping routes for global oil supply, and that's what's causing oil prices to spike. And the longer the Strait of Hormuz stays closed, prices of oil will continue climbing. It could go above $150 per barrel, which would mean super inflationary for our economy, because oil prices always lead to a chain reaction, right? So when oil prices start going up, it's not just oil, it's what it leads to. So remember, when oil prices start going up, you will start seeing energy beyond crude oil that gets impacted. So diesel, jet fuel, natural gas, all of that starts getting affected. And when oil prices are high and there's shipping and trade disruption, then supply chains get hit. And obviously, when supply chains get hit, things are not coming in or going out, or there's a premium on things coming in and going out, which would impact commodities, right? So commodity like wheat, corn, fertilizer, metals, all of these things will start getting impacted, and essentially their prices will start going up, which is inflationary. And obviously, defense spending in itself is also inflationary, because the more money that's being put into defense will create deficits, and deficits create inflation. So, back to the main point: the longer this conflict remains, and the longer that the Strait of Hormuz stays closed, uh, we are going to be feeling the impact of the inflationary of the inflationary things. And it's not really great for us, because interest rates could continue rising. So hopefully, the war does end sooner than later, and as long as it does remain, chances are that it will impact global supply chains. So right now, we haven't seen too much impact in terms of rates. We're talking maybe 15 to 20 basis points. But again, the war is only a week old. So hopefully there's some sort of conclusion to this, and uh, you know, everything can normalize soon. But the longer this remains, this is the impact it will have. So if you're having conversations with your clients, it's very important to let them know that you should be locking your interest rates right now. If you're purchasing a property, get your pre-approvals done, get your interest rates locked. You don't know what's going to happen, how long this is going to continue, and what will come out of it. And the other thing that you guys need to be very careful about is renewals and transfers. So if people are coming up for renewals, look at banks like BMO that will give you 150-day rate holds, right? Most banks 120-day rate hold, but then there's places like Bank of Montreal that will do 150. Talk to these lenders, get your clients, get their rates locked in. You can lock in a rate for a client all the way up till August if you're doing it correctly. And if you have any questions, always reach out. If your clients have any questions that you are not able to answer, reach out. That's what we're here for. All right, guys. Knowledge is power. Take care.